Good morning students, welcome back to C++ class. In today's class, I'll explain you about polymorphism and virtual functions. Okay, what is a polymorphism? Already in OOPS concept I have explained polymorphism. Okay, what is a virtual function? We'll discuss today. Okay, what is a polymorphism and example of a polymorphism already I have explained in OOPS concept. Okay, in detail we'll discuss about polymorphism in C++. Okay, so polymorphism is nothing but it is a process of taking more than one form. Okay, what is a polymorphism? Polymorphism is a process of taking more than one form. Example, we have an operator called plus. Okay, now if I use this plus between for a variable b equals to 20, then c equals to a plus b. This is called as an addition. Okay, here plus is an operator, but it is used to when we use this operator with a numerical value, then it will become an addition. The same operator you can use with the strings. Like a equals to hello, b equals to world. Example, if c equals to a plus b, if you give, then here what you will get, hello world you will get. So in this case, this is for this operation is called as a concatenation. Right? So operator is same, but it is performing two different functions. It is called as, it is nothing but it is taking more than one form. So such things are called as a such process is called as a polymorphism. So polymorphism is a process of or performing more than one form. Okay, so this is called as a polymorphism. This is an example. So operator is same. It is performing addition here and concatenation here. Okay, so this is called as a polymorphism. Right. Now, polymorphism, so two types. Okay, polymorphism of two types. One is static, second one is a dynamic. Okay, first one is the static, the second one is the, and it is also called as a early binding, and it is also called as dynamic binding. Okay, static and dynamic. Clear? And it is also called as a compile time, and it is called as a run time. Okay, they may ask in any way like what is a dynamic polymorphism and what is a runtime polymorphism. Okay, these are all synonyms. Static, so this is a early binding, it is a late binding. Okay, and it is a compile time and it is a run time. Okay, so this is again this is static is divided into two things. One is a function overloading and this is a operator overloading. Next it is a virtual functions. Using the virtual functions will come under diagram. Understood? So polymorphism again is divided into two things. One is a compile time and the second is a runtime, or a static or a dynamic. Again, compile time is categorized into a function overloading, operator overloading. Next, dynamic is possible by using a virtual functions. Okay. Now we will discuss in detail about static binding, or a compile time polymorphism, runtime polymorphism. Okay. So first, compile time polymorphism. For compile time polymorphism, already I have given two things, right? One is a function overloading and the second one is the operator overloading. Two will come under this compile time polymorphism, and the virtual functions will come under runtime polymorphism. Okay, so for compile time polymorphism, here first one is a function overloading and the second one is a operator overloading. These two already have completed. Okay, just I will explain function overloading today because in the previous class only I have completed operator overloading. Okay, so first I will explain function overloading. So in operator overloading, what I have explained, decrement operator used as a name of the function. That example I have already completed. So function overloading also I have completed. Just I am revising how a function can be overloaded in the same class. See example. For this I will explain you the example program. Here we have one class called class A. In this, under public section, public, I am creating a one function like int sum. Int sum I am giving here int A example. Now you are giving the body like a 2 will take int A comma int B 2 I am taking. Now int C equals to A plus B. Return C. Example. This is a 1 and one more function inside the public only. Int sum int A comma int B comma int C. Example. Now int D equals to A plus B plus C. Return D. Okay. These two are example. See here one thing I want to tell you. Here sum function name is same. Here also same. But actually you are using a function overloading concept. A class can have more than one function with the same name. Okay. A class can have more than one function with the same name, but only the parameters are different. In this function we used 2 parameters. In this function I am using 3 parameters. Okay, so the return type of the function, name of the function can be a same, but only the parameters should be different. It is possible, you won't get any error. A class can have more than one function with the same name, but the parameters should be different. Okay, that concept is called as a function overloading. What is a function overloading? Function overloading is the process of creating more than one class with the same, more than one function with the same name, but the parameters are different. Okay, so this is possible. Now you may get a doubt that if the two functions are having the same name, then how it will be executed? Right. Now I will show you the execution. Here, just you take screenshot of this. Now here I will explain. I think it is visible. Just. Now here you see. Example, this is a program. Here we have 2 functions, right? Now here what I am doing is starting the program execution. That is, I am creating a main function. Inside the main function, I am creating an object. What is the name of the object class here? A. Object name OB. So I have created an object to a class A. So when you have created an object to class A, then what happens? Whatever methods and whatever data members are there in that class, that can be used by that object. So here what I am doing is OB dot what? Sum 10, 20. Now OB dot sum 10, 20, 30. Okay. Return 0 and this one. Right. So this is called as a function overloading. Right. Here in the main function, I have created object to the class. What is the name of the class here? A. So I have created object for a class A. Next, OB dot sum. OB dot sum means if you have created an object to any class, then what happens? Whatever methods and whatever function variables are there in that class, that can be accessed by this object. Okay. So using this object, I am accessing all the methods of class A. Now you see OB dot sum. OB dot sum. But with the OB dot sum, we have 2 functions. Which function will be executed? it depends on, it is decided based on the number of parameters you are giving. So here number of values you are giving. Okay, how many values I am giving here? 2 values, 10, 20. So here we have only 2 parameters. So this number of values you are supplying and number of parameters you have in the program that are matching. So this function will be executed. Right? Next, just how many values the calling function is giving and how many parameters are present in the function, that should be matched. So whichever function parameters are matching with the function, the number of values, that function will be executed. Now, come to the second one, ob.sum 10, 20, 30. Here how many parameters you have? 1, 2, 3. Because here we have 3 values. Here you have 2 parameters. So it is not matching. So it will check for the next one, A, B, C. So A value is 10, B value is 20, C value is 30. Okay. So in the same class, if you have more than one function with the same name, then what happens at the time of compilation? The compiler will match the number of values and the number of parameters. If it is matching, then that function will be executed and the remaining function will be skipped. So this is called as a static polymorphism. Understood? Early binding. This is an example. Function overloading you can write for this early binding, compile time polymorphism. Understood? And operator overloading also you can write. Now the next one is the virtual function. The second method of second type of polymorphism is runtime polymorphism or late binding or dynamic. Dynamic binding. Okay. So here what happened is, here whatever functions, see when you start the execution, no? In a compile time polymorphism, what happened? The matching process, the number of values and the number of parameters in the function, that matching process is done at the compile time. Okay. So before starting the program execution, means linking your program with the library files. In case of runtime polymorphism, after compiling at the time of execution at runtime environment, it will check. Okay, so means it will link the object with the functions. That is called as a runtime polymorphism. So in a compile time polymorphism, whatever function matching is there, that at the time of compilation. In case of runtime polymorphism, whatever matching process and everything is there, that will be at runtime. Okay, so runtime polymorphism is done by using a virtual functions. Virtual functions. Okay. So virtual functions are the functions. Okay. So type of function where using this function, base class can use the properties. Base class can use the methods of the child class. Okay. Till the inheritance, what I have explained, only the child classes can use the properties of the parent class. But using a virtual function concept, a base class can use the methods of the child class. Okay. See, in the inheritance process, what I said, when any class is inherited, a child class can use the properties of the parent class. But in some situations, if the parent class want to use the properties of the child class, then how that parent class will use? That is possible by using the virtual function concept. Okay. So using a virtual function concept, a parent class can use the properties of child. The first point, parent class can use the properties of child class. Okay, this is the first point. The second point, when parent class want to use the properties of the child class, then the object of parent class should be a pointer type. So object should be declared as a, object should be created as a pointer type. Why we are creating a pointer type? Because when you create an object as a pointer type, so that we can replace the base class address with the child class, so that we can use the method of the child class. Okay, so if the base class want to use the methods of the child class, then what is the first condition? Base class should be sorry, one more point I forgot to tell you. In the base class, the function should be declared as a virtual function. Okay, so if child class and parent class both are having a same function, then both function, but the child class is having a different definition and the parent class are having a different definition. Example. Then if that base class and the parent class is having the same function, then the base class want to use the methods of the child class, then whatever same function name is there inside the base class, that should be declared as a virtual. Okay. So next, if you have declared any function as a virtual in the base class, then directly the base class can use the method of the child class. Okay. Understood? If you want to do the runtime polymorphism, if the parent class want to use the child class method, same method, then what happened? Whatever method is there, that should be declared as a virtual in a parent class. And whatever object you create for the parent class, that should be declared as a pointer type, so that we can easily assign the address of the child class to the parent class. Okay. Now that I will explain with the example program here. You can see. So first we will start with the example here. Hash include iostring. Next, using namespace std. Okay. Next, you create a class base, and inside the public void, not void, here you should declare a function as a virtual, because here the base class want to use the method of the child class. So virtual is the keyword, void is the return type, function name, example display. See out, here I am giving is a runtime polymorphism. Now close this over. So this is a base class method, and I am closing the class. Oh, now you create one more class, that is a child class. Better I will create here class child example. Inside the public, I am creating one function, right? Void display cout child class, or you can write whatever you want, child class. I am closing the class. Now two classes we have, one is a base class and the second one is a child class. In the two classes we have a method void display. Okay, but here this void display we are declaring as a virtual. It is a keyword. Keyword means as it is you should write. Okay, it should not change. Okay, now come to the next point. We'll discuss. I will write a program with main function, right? Int main function. So in the main function only we will create an object to a classes. So first I will create an object to a base class OB. I am creating an object. So if you have created OB as an object of the base class, then you can access all the methods of base class. But here what condition I have given? If you are creating, you want to provide a runtime polymorphism, then base class object should be declared as pointer OB. Okay, now OB dot display. Then what happened? The display method of the base class will be executed. Now I will create one more object for the child class. Child OB1. Then OB1 dot display. Right? So child class method will be executed. Now the parent class want to use the child class method. Then what happened? The child class object memory address should be assigned to a base class object. Now OB equals to address operator. What is the name of the child class object? OB1. Then OB1 is assigned to OB. Now if you display like this, OB dot display, then the child class methods will be executed. Understood? So this is about virtual function. Okay. You may expect this question in the exam. It is the polymorphism 100% they will ask you. Sometimes they will ask you to explain about polymorphism, or sometimes they will ask you to write a example program using a polymorphism. Okay. So this is about polymorphism. Polymorphism is nothing but the taking more than one form. There are two types of polymorphism. One is a static, or the second one is a dynamic, or you can say that compile time and run time. Under compile time, function overloading and operator overloading will come, and in a run time, virtual functions will come. Okay, so in a compile time, what happened? A class may have more than one function, but the parameters should be different. Okay, and operator overloading, an operator can perform normal function, and the second one is that can be take another form, like what example I have given. Operator name is given as the name of the function. That is over. Come to the virtual function. Using a virtual function concept, a base class can access the properties of the child class. If the base class want to access the methods of the child class, then whatever methods are there in the parent class, that should be declared as the virtual. That is the first point. The second point, object of the base class should be declared as a pointer variable, so that we can assign the address of the base class of child class object to the base class, so that base class can access the methods of the child class. Okay, so this is about polymorphism. Next, our next topic is, so here I will explain one more concept, that is a dynamic memory allocation. The next topic is dynamic memory allocation. Okay, so dynamic means what? Always it is at runtime. Okay, so runtime means the values are not fixed. The value may change every time. Okay, so that is called as a dynamic memory allocation, or dynamic concept actually. See example. Int a equals to 10. First I will give the program. Class A public. Int a I have it. Next one. Int a1 of 5%. Example. So this is the example, the source code. Whatever I have written in the class, that is called as a source code. And in source code, I have created two variables. One is a type of integer, and the second one is a type of integer only, but it is an array. Here we are storing 5 elements, and here only one value we are storing. Right? So when you give any variable data type or anything in the source code itself, then what happened? These two variables will get the memory at the compile time only. Okay, means when the program compilation starts, so at the same time the memory is allocated to these two variables. Okay, so this is called as a static memory allocation. Clear? At the time of compilation, if memory is allocated to any variable, then that type of memory allocation is called as a static. Because here we know the data type and how many variables we have. Here also we have a data type and how many elements we have. Understood? This is called as a static memory allocation. Example, you don't know the size of the array, or you want the memory at runtime. How many elements you are going to store? Example, right now I don't know. Okay, at runtime I want to give the values. Okay, then what we need, according to your values, the memory should be allocated. So that is called as a dynamic polymorphism. Clear? So dynamic polymorphism means memory will be allocated at runtime, not at the compile time. For any variable, if you are giving a memory at runtime, then that will come under a dynamic memory allocation. So this dynamic memory allocation is possible by using a new operator. So new operator is called as a memory allocation operator, which provides memory at runtime. Okay, so example here, I am creating an object to a class A, new class constructor example. Okay, so here actually what happened is, when you create an object, the memory is allocated at runtime, because here we are using a new operator. So when you use a new operator, for that it may be object or it may be variable, whatever it may be. So to particular entity, the memory is allocated at runtime. Only two things you need to remember about it is, one is the memory is allocated at compile time, memory is allocated at runtime. So memory is, how the memory is allocated at compile time? If you declare variable like this, int a equals to 10. So in the program itself, when the program execution started, at the compile time that variable will get the memory, right? But at runtime also you can give a memory to the variable by using a new operator. So new is called as a memory allocation operator, which allocates memory at runtime. So new, this is a class constructor. Here we are giving a memory to an object. Okay, object is created and that object we are giving memory at runtime. Okay, like this you can give a memory to a variable also at a runtime. Clear? So we can give memory to a variable at runtime. And how it is possible is, example I have given int a. Now a equals to new 8. This data type should be saved. New 8. Okay. Then what happened? The memory is allocated to this variable. This is called as a runtime example. Okay. Similarly, if you have an array, if you have more than one element to which you want to give a memory at runtime, then how it will be given is like this. Int a equals to new 8, 5. So 5 elements memory is allocated. Okay, if you have more than one element, example, that information also you should give. How many elements you have. Okay, so only two things, a memory can be allocated at runtime and memory can be allocated static, means at the compile time. So compile time means whatever variables are there, that you can declare in the program only. Okay, but if it is a runtime, then memory will be allocated at the time of execution. So how it will be allocated? By using a new operator. Using a new operator, memory is allocated to a variable or a number of variables at runtime. Okay, so this is about dynamic memory. Anything you remember, if it is a static, it compile time. If it is a dynamic, it is at runtime. Okay, so with this, polymorphism, virtual functions and dynamic memory allocation, that we completed. Okay, now we'll continue in the next class.